the previous GC video, we talked about how the player was slow and just watching. However, here you can already see the speed of an SSL player. He's already at supersonic speed. Does it mean you have to be supersonic at every point in the game? No, not really, since positioning is what makes you fast. However, learning to be comfortable at supersonic speed is what enables you to get to those optimal positions as soon as possible. Good anticipation. Here, he can see that the opponent has gone up and is about to hit the ball to the left. Before the opponent even hits the ball, our SSL player turns left and prepares for this. Lower ranks may tend to wait for the hit and then try to react, but that's too slow. Here, our player could have gone up the wall and potentially challenged the opponent, but he decides to play it safe and wait for mate to come back. This is a good decision too, because the opponent's aerial isn't that threatening since it's heading towards the corner. Good decision not to 50 the ball, as it looks pretty tempting as the opponent comes down. The reason why it's a good decision is because if he had 50D, there's always the possibility of it going towards the opponent's mate in the middle. But if he fakes, then mate is covering net and he won't score, increasing the likelihood of retaining possession. Great patience and pop. Nice try. Here, many lower ranks will notice the sharp bounce off the wall and be tempted to aerial for this ball. Here, the SSL player waits and observes the opponent to see if he can get a follow-up. This is important to ensure he doesn't aerial and get beat, especially with his mate not back. Just quickly pointing out the importance of staying close to mate, as shown here by the opponents. You can see they're very close to each other for potential follow-ups. Some of you may be thinking, why is he rotating this way when his mate is there? Well, top players find a way to get involved as much as they can. And here, he's not going for the ball. He's going to demo to free up the play for his mate. For the next few seconds, watch how close he stays to the play. Again, look at his mate. Our SSL player gets beat to the ball, but look at Sam. He stays close for the follow-up. At lower ranks, they would have gone back for boost or strayed away from the play and isolated themselves for a 1v1 or 2v1. This is exceptional positioning, and what is considered to be as proactively playing the game. Here he stops his car and waits. Why? Firstly, he can already see that the opponent is going to pop the ball high since the ball is coming down on a bounce. You might be thinking, but what if he doesn't? Well, his mate, Sam, will just deal with it in that case. He positions here because if the opponent pops it high to the backboard, he can drive up the backboard and deal with it. And if he pops it vertically high, he can drive forward and potentially aerial clear the ball. Great pass decision simply because it's a clear 2v1. Lower ranks might not pass here due to lack of awareness, but if you know you're in a 2v1, finding your mate is usually a great way to score. He loses kickoff and doesn't just go for mid or corner boost. Instead, he stays in the play, grabs pads, and tries to help mate. Had he went for mid or corner boost, this is a goal. Good positioning. Lower ranks will usually autopilot here and just flip to back post. But you don't have time to do that since there's an interaction about to happen between mate and the opponent. He positions here because if his mate wins the ball, he can be close to follow up. And if his mate gets beat, the only way for the opponent to score is to pass mid, so he positions mid to cover their second man. Exactly like this. Had he gone back post, he wouldn't be in time to save this. Stays close to the play. Anticipates the hit to the right and prepares to turn right. Good first man challenge. He should turn towards the green arrow to support mate, especially since he has boost. He turns towards the red arrow, in which I believe he thought his mate won't win the challenge. Great pass by mate. This entire sequence is really good. Let's go back. Here, those at GC are likely to pop this ball forward and high, and then try some aerial maneuver. But at this moment, he breaks and takes a mid-height pop instead. This is because he knows two defenders are back, and the first man is going to pre-jump him. This is incredibly smart as he plans to fake this ball going high, and instead, go underneath him. This is much more straightforward. He sees the oncoming challenge and attempt to pop it over him. Now that he's popped the ball, we all know he's no longer able to get the ball. But does he just rotate away and get boost? No, he doesn't. He tries to demo the final man. It's all about making yourself useful in every given situation. Mate has rotated, so you are now first man. A challenge is needed from you soon. Excellent challenge. He didn't play passively or waited for some reason. This is great. As he's floating, he toggles car cam to check if boost is there. And then once he sees there's no boost, he toggles ball cam back on to check the play. Mate unfortunately got outplayed here. If you see mate rotate like this, it's always best to hold off on your challenge for a little moment until you think your mate has gotten boost. Sometimes, we are prone to challenging a bit too early as first man, which can still leave your mate in a 2v1. This is good. Look at this rotation. He doesn't go for mid or corner boost, he simply gets pads and ends up with more than enough boost. Playing proactively. He watches the opponent and can see he's about to take it up the wall, so he speed flips in that direction to prepare for it. Look at this rotation. He doesn't go back post. He instead goes near post because he can see his mate is about to challenge and he wants to be close to pick up the ball. The ball goes high to opponent's corner, which means grabbing corner boost is fine. Grabbing boost is all about whether you have time to do it. What does time mean here in this context? It means that you can grab boost without it putting you out of the play, and/or no direct threat will happen in the time you grab the boost. As you can see here, he grabbed boost and he's still somewhat in the play and there's no direct threat. Good speed. Here you can see Sam rotating back, but he's going for their corner boost. This means he's going to take a little while to come back. As previously mentioned, generally speaking, you want to wait a little while before challenging until you know mate is back. This is so that your mate can help with the follow-up. However, in this specific case, he needs to challenge early to serve a different purpose, which is to buy his mate some time to come back and reposition. This is why knowing when to challenge is really important to ranking up. Pay attention to this movement. He grabs pads and doesn't stick to back post. He gets close to mate for the follow-up. Staying back post is usually the go-to for lower ranks like plat or diamond, but once you start to hit the champ ranks, you should stay close for the follow-up. Please note that staying close is definitely the play, but it leaves you in awkward situations much more often. The best way to overcome that feeling of awkwardness is through improving your mechanics. Good awareness and demo dodge. Here, he doesn't rotate away from the play and grabs the left corner boost. Instead, he turns right and makes himself relevant by getting a demo. Good challenge. Here, you are now first man as Sam is backwards. This is important to realize. In this case, it is important to challenge as soon as possible to stop giving the opponent time. In the previous GC video, we had a similar position, and the GC as first man decided to play passively as first man, which isn't correct. Look at how this SSL plays this position. Aggressive and direct. Look at how simple yet so powerful this shot is. There's no air roll or overcomplicating maneuvers. It's just a simple aerial into a corner shot, yet SSLs are just very consistent at doing this. Mate covers high, he covers low. If you're the type that struggles with ground-to-air dribble mechanic, it's all about the pop. If you look at why your pops are not good enough, it's mainly because you tend to hit it on the front side of the ball. But it's all about hitting it at the bottom. Sounds simple and logical, but isn't so easy to implement in a pressurized game. Even with low boost and mate demoed, he tries to show some presence to keep the opponents on their toes. This is really important to learn positioning. He firstly positions centrally because it's effectively a 2v1, and the midfield is open due to opponent not being back yet. However, the moment the opponent rotates back, he now covers mate instead, because it's no longer a 2v1. This is important to learn because now the probability of a successful pass to mid is very low compared to the probability of your mate losing the ball completely. Two opponents back, stays behind, he doesn't go mid. Always cheat. I love this decision a lot. Many players would just scurry back to corner boost. But here, he knows he can't afford to give the opponent time on the ball, even if he has a 100. Instead, he decides to be annoying and 50 this ball. Great play. Fantastic passing shot.